Brooke's brother Jake had been broke for as long as anyone could remember. The kind of broke where he'd borrow small amounts and always have some excuse about why life just wasn't working out for him. But he's her brother, so when he got engaged, she was happy for him. That's what you're supposed to be. Until the wedding plans came out. So in their family, everyone had their assigned role, and Brooke was the responsible one, the one who worked hard, saved money, and made plans for the future, which is how she ended up being the person everyone leaned on when things went wrong. Her brother Jake, complete opposite. Charismatic, confident, always figuring something out, but somehow never actually landing on his feet. And the parents didn't correct this dynamic. They enabled it. It's always so frustrating when parents do this, and they don't see how they are part of the problem. Because every mistake Jake made was softened. Every financial mess was swept away. Every time he needed help, someone stepped in, so he never learnt to figure things out on his own. Instead, things usually landed with Brooke to sort out for him. At first it was small things, covering the bills, helping him out just this once, sending money without making a big deal. Nothing that felt big enough to say no to, but enough to slowly turn it into expectation. And the engagement announcement should have been a happy moment. Dinner, good news, congratulations all around. And it started that way. But then Jacob threw the bombshell. He and his fiancée announced they wanted a destination wedding in the Caribbean. The full experience, something they described as a once-in-a-lifetime moment. But Jake wasn't really talking to the room. He was talking to Brooke. He explained that they just couldn't afford what they wanted, that it would mean everything if she could help them make it work. Then he slid a folder across the table. So he already had this all figured out before talking to Brooke. And inside was a breakdown of costs that felt like a proposal disguised as a favour. A $60,000 favour. And that's not small change. That's life-changing money. And before she could even respond, her mother stepped in saying how Brooke was doing so well, that she had a good job, and that family was supposed to show up for each other. Okay, but isn't it custom for the parents to pay for a wedding and not the sibling? Have you ever had the role of a parent forced on you in this way? If so, let us know what happened in the comments. And what followed here wasn't just one conversation. It was a pressure campaign that built over weeks while Brooke considered what she wanted to do. Her mother calling her emotionally, saying that she was hurting the family. Her father accusing her of being selfish or not helping when she clearly had the means. And Jake messaging her constantly, shifting between disappointment and guilt, framing her hesitation as a betrayal. And the more it went on, the more pressure started to make Brooke question her hesitation. It stopped being, they're asking too much, and started becoming, maybe I am being selfish. Because when everyone around you repeats the same thing enough times, you stop trusting your own instincts. But something still didn't sit right for Brooke. If he was truly broke, why was there no compromise in the plan? Why was the expectation total rather than partial? And then, without looking for it, she found something that changed everything. She was opening the mail and accidentally opened one addressed to Jake. It wasn't meant for her, but by the time she realized, something had already caught her attention. Because what she saw didn't match anything that she'd been told. It was a trust fund statement that she knew nothing about. $500,000 sitting in his name. Money that completely contradicted the entire narrative that he had built around himself. And behind that, there were property documents. A condo purchase in Aspen already in motion, which would have cost a lot more than $60,000. So, Jake wasn't a struggling man trying to get by. He had access to serious money, all while asking her to pay for things. So this is no longer about helping family. This is deceit through and through, not just by Jake, but by her parents as well, because surely they must know about the trust fund. But she didn't confront anyone immediately. She went to the wedding with the promise that she would reimburse the costs afterwards. She smiled when she needed to, sitting through the ceremony, calm outside but unhinged inside. Because once you've seen a truth like this, you see everyone involved in a very different light, including yourself. When it came time for speeches, she was called up just like any other family member. She walked up and started her speech just like any other, talking about family, love, the usual things people expect in a wedding speech. But then she changed tact. She started talking about financial success, about responsibility, about what it looks like to manage wealth carefully while still asking others to sacrifice for you. At first, Jake and their parents didn't catch on. Then she mentioned the trust fund. Then the condo. Then the fact that despite his wealth, Jake had spent his life leeching off of Brooke, and their parents encouraged it. But she was done, so they can pay for their own wedding and stay away from her. And she didn't stay to watch what happened next. She put the mic down, collected her things, and left. But now she's wondering if she went too far. Her friends say maybe he didn't know about the trust fund, and it was contingent on getting married. That maybe she has one too that her parents didn't tell her about. So, is she the asshole for blowing things up without a prior conversation? My opinion, regardless of the trust fund situation, this isn't about money. This is more about the parents enabling Jake to rely on his sister, and also how they encouraged that burden onto her. Because someone knew about the trust fund, and yet Brooke still had to be the one to always pick up the check. And the emotional manipulation, wearing her down with the calls and messages before the wedding, makes me think that this is a deeper problem. Because this has created a sense of entitlement for everyone except Brooke. But exposing it at the wedding is where things get complicated. Because even when you're right, timing matters. And exposing things publicly creates a situation where you can end up being the one in the wrong, even when you're right. So my verdict on this is no, she's not the asshole, but it's a very close call. Thanks for judging that one with me on Am I the Asshole But Zen? Let's see if your verdict changes next time.